In the heart of Wolfe's Hollow, a name long buried began to whisper again. Hollowmoor. Not spoken aloud in 50 years. Not since blood was spilled under moonlight. But now, the veil had lifted, and the bride's gaze turned there. It started with the trees. At exactly midnight, on the fourth night after William's disappearance, the ancient pines bordering Wolfe's Hollow began to creak, not from wind, but from something moving inside them. Owls abandoned their nests. Deer ran into villages, foam dripping from their mouths, and then came the scream. A high, sharp, inhuman shriek that echoed across the valley, loud enough to shatter a church window in Eastmere. Elder Rowan woke from his slumber, drenched in sweat. He had not heard that sound in decades. "Hollowmoor is awakening," he whispered. In the town square, rumors exploded like wildfire. Was it a banshee? A witch? A demon? No one dared say the word Eleanor. Not openly, but the signs were there. Salt circles broken by invisible hands. Candles that wouldn't stay lit. A little girl who sang a bridal lullaby in Latin, though she'd never heard the language before. Lady Agatha, the new magistrate's wife, insisted they burn sage and pray. But Father Greaves knew prayer wouldn't be enough. He knew what lived in Hollowmoor. He helped bury it. Inside the church cellar, beneath the altar, Father Greaves opened a forbidden trapdoor. Dust exploded upward like breath from a corpse. He descended, trembling steps into a dark chamber of secrets. There, beneath layers of rotten fabric, lay a sealed journal belonging to Eleanor Ainsley. As he opened it, the ink bled fresh as if newly written. "They lied. They dragged me through the trees. My blood fed the soil of Hollowmoor. But I will return, wrapped in veil and vengeance." He dropped the book and staggered back. A single red rose loomed through the stone floor. It hadn't seen light in 50 years.
Wolfe's Hollow was built on stolen land, ancient soil that belonged to the Hollowmoor clan, centuries before the Ainsleys. When the colonists arrived, they claimed it, desecrated it, and renamed it. They said they were purifying evil. But evil doesn't die, it waits. Eleanor's remains were buried in the Hollowmoor soil by her fiancé's men, not in a grave, but tossed into a dry well. Her bridal gown scorched, her mouth stitched shut with gold thread. The forest drank her agony. And when her soul rose, it rose not as a whisper, but as a storm. Elric was a hunter, brave, foolish. He said he'd cleanse Hollowmoor himself. With nothing but a crucifix, a torch, and his hound, he entered the forest. Hours passed, then a day. On the second night, his hound returned. Without eyes, tail between legs, blood matted into its fur. In its mouth was a piece of Elric's wedding ring. He was to be married in 3 days. Instead, his name was etched into the town's memorial wall, beneath a growing list of the lost. Lady Agatha began dreaming of Eleanor. In one vision, she saw herself walking through a fog-choked field, led by veils, dozens of them, floating mid-air like ghosts. Each veil hovered above a corpse, face hidden, mouth open in silent scream. And at the end of the field stood Eleanor. Her eyes were black hits leaking ink. She raised her hand, pointed directly at Agatha, and whispered, "You wore white, you watched me burn. Now wear your shame like I wore my veil." Agatha woke screaming, her nightgown soaked in blood, though her skin was untouched.
The town council met in secret, desperate and trembling. Some wanted to flee. Others wanted to set Hollowmoor ablaze. But Elder Rowan, hands shaking, warned, "If you burn the forest, you feed her. If you run, she follows. The only way to end this is confession." Confession of what? A silence heavier than death fell upon the room, because they knew. They all knew. Their ancestors didn't just murder Eleanor. They summoned something darker through her death. And now she was merely the doorway. In his cellar, Father Greaves read deeper into Eleanor's journal. "They thought fire would silence me. But flame is language, pain is scripture, and vengeance is God." She spoke of veilcraft, an ancient Hollowmoor ritual where veils were laced with binding curses. Every veil in her collection was tied to a name. And when she died, she became the last veil, the one soaked in betrayal, stitched by rage. Whoever wore it would bleed until the earth forgave them. But the earth does not forgive. A group of village boys dared each other to approach the old Hollowmoor well. Only one returned, without hair, fingernails cracked, his voice gone. He never spoke again. The others never found. But a new rumor spread. A girl with no face had been seen crawling from the well, humming a bridal march. They say she was the part of Eleanor that never died, the innocence, and now it was rotting. On the 7th night, the bells of the church began to ring by themselves. 12 slow tolls. Outside, in a perfect circle around the building, lay veils. Real, physical veils. White embroidered, stained at the edge with what looked like blood and ink. Each veil had a name stitched into it, names of the council members. And beneath the altar, written in Eleanor's hand across the stone floor, bride to bride, sin to sin, blood to blood. Father Greaves collapsed. His heart gave out. He died with her name on his lips.
As the chapter closes, thunder rolls across Wolfe's Hollow. Rain falls upward, and in Hollowmoor Forest, the veils begin to move, not floating, marching. A procession of spectral brides, faceless, silent, stitched at the mouth, walking toward the village. And at the front, Eleanor, her gown now soaked black, her veil torn at the edge, like teeth had bitten through it.
She is not just haunting, she is reclaiming. The curse is no longer
Secret, it is a sentence. This story part 4 coming soon. Keep watching my videos and subscribe my channel.